Yes, I did. Hey guys, good morning. So today we're gonna jump right into area. The last 3 or 4 videos that we did were all about perimeter, and the great thing about area is that once we understand perimeter, once we can remember that to calculate the perimeter of a rectangular shape, all we have to do is add all the sides. Then area, it's easier for us to understand. Okay, here's the main difference between what perimeter was and what area is. When we were calculating the perimeter of a shape, we needed to measure or find the values for all the sides so that we can add them. Area only takes into consideration 2 sides, and this is why. For area, what we want to know, let me go to the brush here. For area, what we want to know, it's the space inside that rectangular shape. So we're not concerned with the measurements of the sides and with knowing how long or how the magnitude of the entire surrounding of the area. We want to know what's inside. We want to know how much space do we have inside. So if we have a house and we're gonna build a fence, right? The fence would be the perimeter, and then the space inside, the grass and the lot inside that fence would be our area. So to find the area, we only need 2 values. We only need to know 2 values. We need 2 sides, but it has to be length and width. So it has to be the 2 sides that form an L, or an upside down L, or a upside down or downside L. So we need to know this side and this side, or we need to know this side and this side, or we need to know this side and this side, or we need to know this side and this side. So we really don't do anything knowing this side and this side. Actually, if we know this side, then we know this one, right? Because it's a rectangle. So for the area, we need to know the width and the length. So here we go. If we have those measurements, then we can calculate area very easily by multiplying them. So for example, if I tell you that, let me change the ink here. If I tell you that the width of this rectangle is 10, and the height, let's say 10 inches, and the height is 5 inches, then the area of that rectangle would be 10 times 5 inches. And so we report the result like this: area equals 50 squared inches. So it's important that you add that squared inches, because we're taking one side, which is squares, and the other side, which is squares as well, and we're multiplying them. When we see in a little bit the example with the small cubes, we are gonna understand why we report this in square inches, okay? But if we're doing it in feet, then it would be squared feet. If you're doing it in centimeters, then it would be squared centimeters, okay? Good. So let's do a quick second example. So if I tell you that in this rectangle the width is 14 centimeters and the height is 4 centimeters, then the area would be 14 times 4. Notice that I'm not saying that area is 14 times 4 times 14 times 4. That's what you did in perimeter. You added all the sides. In area, you just have to multiply 2. You do not need the 4 sides. Obviously, you know, because you know this is 4, you know that this one is 4. And because this is 14, you know that this is 14. But that doesn't help you here unless you're going to calculate perimeter, which you have to add them all. in which case you have to add them all. For area, you just have to multiply two sides, the width and the length. So the area in this case would be 14 times 4. We multiply 14 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Carry the 1. 4 times 1 is 4, and 1, 5. So the area is 56, and because we were dealing with centimeters, we reported at squared centimeters. Okay? So that's it. That's it. For finding area, you just need to have the values of two sides, and then you have to multiply them. What would happen if you don't have the value of the sides? If you're given the rectangle, but you're not given the sides, the values. Well, if you have a ruler, you can measure them. Okay? You measure the width, you measure the height, and then you multiply them. Sometimes they give us an example in like this. For example, let's do here a rectangle like this. Okay. So we have that rectangle. It looks like a square, but it's not a square. And how do we know that it's not a square? Because here we have, let me go back to the brushes. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 units. And here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it is a square. Okay. I'm sorry, I thought that it was a rectangle, but it has 6. Okay, it is a perfect square. My monitor is deceiving. Okay, so it is a perfect square. So in this case, because we counted the equal units up and sideways, we know the value of the width and the value of the height. So this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one is 6. And this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one is 6. So what would be the area of this square? The area is equal to 6 times 6. So the area equals 36. Okay, practice those timetables. Okay, let me do one more. Okay, so in this case, because we don't have values, but we have a graph paper, we can count the number of squares inside this rectangle to know the value. So we have 1, okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We have 8 equal units like this, and then we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 equal units like this. So the area would be 8 times 4. The area is 32. Okay? That's all there is. That's all there is with area. Now, tomorrow, we're going to vamp this a little bit more, and we're going to start using this knowledge in word problems and application problems, because that's where it gets interesting. Okay? So for now, go to Google Classroom, practice perimeter. There's going to be an assignment there for perimeter, and practice area, just simply calculating the area. Okay? That's it. See you next time. Peace.